A group of explorers disappear in the forest of Congo after going on an expedition. Mokele Mbembe is said to be an African mythical monster. The description of this monster matches that of a plesiosaur, a kind of reptile said to be extinct along with the dinosaurs. The sightings of this monster have been rumored in the Congo jungles after years of deforestation, even though it is majorly discarded as rumors. A group of adventurers has been assigned to go on an expedition to witness if this mythical creature is, in fact, mythical or not. The leader of this group is Jonathan, a renowned zoologist with many past achievements as well. The team also includes 2 television cameramen, Pete and Dave, to record all the sightings. On the other hand, we have young Luke, who is exploring his father Jonathan's travel bag while recording as Jonathan fights with his wife for not taking responsibility for Luke as he goes on the expedition. Luke is excited that he is going with Jonathan, but Jonathan doesn't seem to be very fond of his son at the moment. He plans on dropping Luke with his Aunt Rachel and going ahead while disliking the scenario and rhetorically questioning why Luke got expelled from college. What Luke did was post his manager's video on the internet exposing his pervert nature. One of the explorers is young Liz Draper, who has completed studies in medicine and wanted a different experience, hence she landed this job. Once they reach Africa, Luke suggests using the mini camera he has, which they can attach anywhere, and the images are sent to the hard drive while they take them. It is a pretty impressive idea to catch and secure all the images and videos, but Jonathan's annoyance either towards his son or towards modern technology makes him lash out at Luke, reminding him that he is not going to the forest with them as he is young and dumb. Later, the team meets Amara and the pilot Etienne. The 2 of them work for the Environment Agency in Congo and have been given the task of showing them around as they do for other explorers. Amara laughs at the mention of the plesiosaur, showing she doesn't believe in the myth. Charlie works with Jonathan and has been on almost all the expeditions with him, but the way he describes it, like desperately trying to prove he is better than Jonathan, makes his jealousy for Jonathan very evident. As the helicopter ride starts, everything is going on normally with a very pretty view of the forest, till we get to know Luke sneaked into the storage cabin of the helicopter. Slipping something grabs everyone's attention, and Jonathan moves forward to see what it is. Jonathan's anger towards Luke knows no bounds, but Charlie tells him Luke just wanted to tag along and explore. Jonathan tells him to sit in the same spot and not ruin anything anymore. After a moment of silence, Luke sets up a camera in the helicopter as well. Charlie and Luke then notice weird giant birds flying around the forest. When Luke asks Amara what it is, she seems surprised at the same time. As the birds looking like dinosaur creatures close in, Amara calls for Etienne, but the birds bang into the helicopter's wings, making the thing go down immediately. As they fall, Etienne dies on the impact while others rush out, realizing it is on fire. Luke goes back in to grab his bag and equipment, making Jonathan once again give him an earful to not put his or anybody else's life at risk. Turns out those birds were jungle hawks, and such incidents are not a surprise to happen. Jonathan tells Amara to guide them to a nearby village before it gets dark. However, when they reach the village, it is empty of life and destroyed. This surprises Amara as well. A few of the scenarios hint toward this being an attack. Amara notices these things as well, but doesn't get into many explanations. They find a considerably cleaner and safer hut to reside in for the night. As everyone settles, Luke places a motion detector with a camera outside the hut with Pete's help. This would record whenever something moves by it. The idea is pretty smart, both in terms of safety and reach, and it is only Jonathan who is about to lash out on Luke for this as well. Good thing Liz intervenes in support of Luke's idea. Inside the hut, they have an ample supply of food since Pete is a foodie. However, the worry is that they don't know if Etienne was able to send a radio signal before losing the connection or not. The only means of communication left is the satellite phone, which is also currently broken. Liz suggests Luke trying to fix it. Luke takes the phone, promising to try his best. At night, after everyone goes to sleep, the camera keeps recording and stopping as something quickly moves by but isn't caught. Soon they hear a sound waking up from it. They wake Luke, who sees the camera capturing weird bat-like creatures that also resemble dinosaurs. These are a lot like Jeholopterus. Seeing a huge amount of them, the safest is nobody makes any sound, but eventually they end up making a sound strong enough that all the monsters start attacking the house to break in. One of them manages, resulting in everyone getting scratched and then running out as they get swarmed. Liz doesn't survive this animal mob and ends up losing her life. Amara leads everyone to the river where the boats are. Luke panics seeing his dad not there yet, but Jonathan arrives in time for them to escape. As the sun rises, everyone is just silently floating in the river in the 2 boats. Luke once again begins recording himself as he updates the scenario in the recording. He feels dejected about being ignored by his dad and appreciates Charlie being someone who is at least acknowledging his presence around. Jonathan comes to the boat as Luke tries fixing the phone. He is much politer than before, finally seeming to realize his son's talent and how close he is to losing him. In the meantime, Pete notices something in the woods which initially everyone takes for granted till they see the bushes move themselves. Then their boats are attacked from under the water, making them paddle faster to reach the land. As everyone sets up camp the night on the island, Luke asks Omara whether she knows about all of this or not. She tells them she has never witnessed something like this before, but there have been stories of attacks from strange animals, and the villagers believe that the local deforestation leads to demons coming out of the door to their habitat. Many went to find what lies on the other end, but no one returns so far. As they all talk about this, something alarms them from the bushes. The alarm turns to real danger when a baby dinosaur pops out of the bushes. There are more as well, but a bit far away. The team identifies it to be a Dilophosaurus. Luke is the nearest to him while others are a few steps away. Jonathan keeps asking Luke to step away, but he seems to have other plans as he offers a sweet treat to the dinosaur. Just like with other animals, the trick works on the baby dragon too, and he lets Luke pet him and then spits on his face as some sort of acceptance. The next day, Omara shows her concern about everyone's safety to Jonathan, convincing him that they need to escape before these friendly baby dinosaurs bring something that is not so friendly. On the other hand, Luke is extremely fascinated by these babies playing in the water, while the dinosaur from last night, whom he named Crypto, has become Luke's friend. Coaxing Crypto for another sweet treat, Luke and Charlie successfully attach one of Luke's cameras to its neck so they can track where it goes and what it sees. Crypto then dives into the water and leaves with his friends, while everyone watches the footage live on Luke's tablet. However, Jonathan agrees with Omara that they need to leave the place before a greater danger befalls them, and starts wrapping up after they all see Crypto entering a cave in the river and the footage losing transmission after that. Charlie first lashes out at the camera losing transmission as if that is something to be mad about, and then he gets into an argument with Omara and Jonathan, not wanting anybody else to take the credit for the discovery they just made. Bro wants to stick to the credit as if he is the first person to see it when many have already claimed to have witnessed these creatures. Jonathan tries to explain that it is too dangerous to go without more help as they already lost 2 people, and Luke is a 15-year-old rookie he needs to take care of. Luke gets offended at that and calls out his dad for being jealous that Luke has better ways of exploring than him. Jonathan keeps his composure, telling him it is too dangerous, followed by the same statement from Omara. Luke surrenders to their commands in frustration, while Charlie adds fuel to the fire by exclaiming that he believes Luke is right. As they are on the boat, Luke is once again sitting in the other boat with Charlie when the transmission comes back. The cave leads to a whole new undiscovered part of the forest where Crypto and his friends are wandering. The two figures this could be the door everyone talks about. Soon, Crypto's camera falls off, but the place feels like Crypto's hub. They see the feet of a larger dinosaur before the transmission gets cut off. Luke is excited to share this with his dad, but Charlie stops him, telling them they should wait for a better time to do so. Well, if Charlie's behavior wasn't suspicious enough already, this reveals something about his personality. There's white water ahead, so they have to be very careful about not falling off or losing anyone. However, the commotion leads to Charlie and Luke's boat getting cut off, and it seems to be a very eerie coincidence that it happens to be exactly around the cave, and the two of them swerve into the cave. Luke gets scared of reaching that part of the forest, and that too without Jonathan. Charlie tells him they should keep moving by paddling with their hands. Luke is very scared of touching the water, but eventually does so and starts trying to make the boat move as fast as possible. Against Omara's will, Jonathan turns the boat to the cave, not leaving his son alone. They soon reach Charlie and Luke. This little immediate decision by Jonathan is enough to reconcile things between him and Luke, as Luke has realized his dad indeed cares about him to risk his life and doesn't consider him a burden. They cannot connect the two boats again, so Jonathan asks Luke about the satellite phone. Luke tells them only a few connections are left to fix, and he hopes that the phone will work afterward. Everyone decides to move, but their boats feel attacked by something underneath yet again. This time it isn't some rock or baby dinosaur, but the not-so-mythical Mokele-mbembe, or plesiosaur. The dinosaur comes out a little farther from them. Dave decides to step to the corner of the boat to record the creature, which looks to be peaceful at the moment. But there's a reason why no one ever returned after exploring the door. It takes rapid moments before another monstrous creature flips their boats, and they are all in the water trying to survive. The water turns red, indicating at least one person died. Jonathan and Luke try to reach each other, but Jonathan is also swept away. Charlie takes Luke out of the water, tells him that all others are gone, and proceeds to start walking, telling him to follow. It is indeed weird that Charlie doesn't give Luke even a moment to breathe or grieve his father, but just forces him to move. Charlie just keeps on moving while Luke has to follow while keeping to work on the satellite phone. Luke ends up fixing it, but Charlie is just not stopping. He only stops when they reach a dark, deep ditch that they saw Crypto jump in. The dirt on Charlie's face matches the dirt on his phone as he thanks Luke for fixing the phone before pushing him into the ditch to die. Luke falls into some water, luckily surviving for now. He is finally realizing the price of not listening to his father's cautions, as the phone was the only way of reaching out for help. However, Charlie being a liar is no surprise by now because everyone except Dave is still alive. Omar tells them that she is going back to where Luke and Charlie went. They are not coming back. Jonathan gets pissed that Charlie took Luke with him and decides to go save his son from that selfish opportunist. Pete has an open choice, so he decides to tag along with Jonathan. They wish well to Omara, who takes the boat and leaves. Luke is trying to find a way when a bat-like creature attacks him. Luke is defenseless and falls while trying to run. Pete comes in and hits the bat with a mic and then follows the animal for the sake of Dave. He seems to have lost his mind over losing his friend as he walks into a bunch of those creatures and leaves the world to meet his friend. On the other hand, Luke is glad that his dad is alive and narrates to him that he found the entrance and that Charlie tried to kill him after taking the satellite phone from him. Jonathan knew Charlie was a selfish guy, but he didn't expect him to stoop this low. Moreover, their escape relies on the satellite phone because the boats have gone down already. Jonathan takes a moment to digest the situation and tells Luke they need to find the phone. On the other hand, Charlie starts recording himself, explaining that he is on a path that is not registered on the map, and that this is probably a valley full of dinosaurs. He also sickly mentions that he will always cherish and credit Luke's sacrifice to help explore this. The smart guy is unaware that Luke had a camera attached to him when he pushed him, and the footage of his crime is going to the same drive he is sending his stolen achievement to. However, he soon hears Luke and Jonathan and hides so he doesn't get noticed by them. Jonathan and Luke reach the top of a mountain where they can see bird-like dinosaurs flying around a bit far away. They are trying to find a trail and about to go up when some rocks fall, almost knocking them down the mountain. Jonathan is hanging to a rock when the two notice it is Charlie trying to kill them. Jonathan tells Luke to run, but Luke wants to save his father. He tells them there is no time to save both of them and ushers him to run after telling him he loves him and losing his grip on the rocks. Luke starts running into the forest as Charlie follows him. Charlie can hear the hustling, but Luke is bent down in the bushes to not be seen. Crypto finds Luke and ushers him to follow. Luke follows Crypto while constantly trying to make Crypto understand that any sound means they are both dead. While running, he slips and falls, noticing his surroundings, and one of his cameras beside him, and realizing this is Crypto's home where he dropped the camera. Before Luke can run any further, Charlie catches up with him. Luke is already not good at fighting or defending himself, plus he has fallen, so Charlie has completely overpowered him. While Charlie thinks he is the main character and can make dramatic statements before killing Luke, Crypto makes an appearance once again. However, Charlie is stronger than that baby of a monster and throws him away when it tries to attack Charlie. Charlie continues making dramatic statements when Crypto comes back, but this time he rushes away after spitting on Luke. Charlie mocks Luke over this, but Luke stands up, telling him Crypto protected him by this gesture that Charlie doesn't consider friendly. Charlie is confused till he hears rustling behind him. What seems to be Crypto's parent has appeared behind Charlie. It steps forward and sniffs Luke, realizing he is safe, and then sniffs Charlie, while probably the other parent appears. The two giant dinosaurs attack the pathetic excuse of a human and save Luke. Later on, Luke records his last journal entry explaining how the satellite phone is broken again and he is unsure if he can fix it again. All the recordings are stored and his message will be sent out like they do using bottles in a sea. He secures everything in his backpack, and before wrapping up this recording, he shows the sight of several flying dinosaur creatures around the sky. He then plans to find the way to the center of the valley before it gets dark, unaware of what more he will see and how much longer he will survive. But he does seem to have a little friendly guide in this dangerous area because Crypto is still around him. After signing off, Luke puts all the cameras and equipment tightly in a plastic wrapping and then places it in the bag before throwing it down the waterfall, hoping it will reach out to the safe side of the water. The bag was indeed found by people, providing them with all the hard drives carrying footage of what happened, but neither Omara, Jonathan, or Luke were found by the rescue team, even after numerous efforts.